The first kiss didn't happen the way love stories usually promise. It happened in the middle of an argument, voices raised, hearts racing, the kind of moment where both Nick and Noah were pretending they didn't care, even as everything inside them was on fire. The air between them felt too tight to breathe, heavy with everything they had refused to say. When Nick finally stopped talking, his eyes dark and honest, Noah realized the truth she had been running from had already caught up to her. Nick and Noah had always been a collision waiting to happen. From the day they were forced into each other's lives, their connection was sharp, intense, and confusing. They challenged each other in ways that were uncomfortable, but real. Nick was reckless, carrying the weight of his past like armor, while Noah was guarded, determined not to lose herself in someone else's chaos. Every glance between them felt like a dare. Every conversation felt like a step closer to something dangerous and beautiful at the same time. The first kiss was messy and impulsive. Nick kissed her like he was afraid she would disappear if he didn't. Noah kissed him back like she was finally admitting the truth to herself. It wasn't perfect, but it was honest. When they pulled apart, neither of them smiled. They just stood there, stunned by what they had done, knowing nothing would ever feel simple again. The second kiss came after distance, after silence, after pretending that first kiss hadn't changed everything. Nick tried to go back to his old habits, fast cars, louder nights, anything to drown out the way Noah's absence echoed in his chest. Noah tried to focus on her own life, convincing herself that loving Nick meant losing control. When they finally saw each other again, it was by accident, a chance encounter charged with unspoken regret. This time the kiss was slower, careful. Nick hesitated before leaning in, giving Noah time to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met gently, like a question instead of a demand. In that moment, they weren't fighting the connection anymore. They were acknowledging it. When they separated, Noah rested her forehead against his, both of them breathing in the same truth. This wasn't just attraction. This was something deeper, something that scared them both. Their biggest challenge wasn't the world around them, it was the fear inside them. Nick was afraid that loving Noah would mean exposing every broken part of himself. Noah was afraid that loving Nick would mean losing the future she was trying so hard to build. They hurt each other without meaning to, pulling away when things felt too real, saying things they didn't mean just to protect themselves. The third kiss came after one of those moments, a misunderstanding that spiraled into harsh words and slammed doors. Noah walked away in tears, telling herself she was done. Nick followed her, his chest tight with regret. When he finally caught up to her, he didn't argue. He didn't defend himself. He apologized. Truly. And when Noah looked at him, really looked, she saw not the reckless boy everyone judged, but a man trying to be better. She kissed him first this time. Soft, emotional, full of forgiveness. Nick's hand shook as he held her, like he understood the weight of what she was offering. That kiss wasn't about passion. It was about choosing each other again, even when it was hard. The fourth kiss happened in a quiet moment, far away from drama. A rare night when everything felt calm. They lay side by side, talking about dreams they had never shared with anyone else. Nick talked about wanting to escape the shadows of his past. Noah talked about wanting a life that felt like her own. There was no rush, no fear, just honesty. When Nick kissed her then, it felt safe, like home. Noah smiled against his lips, realizing that love didn't always have to hurt to be real. Sometimes it could be gentle. That kiss reminded them that what they were building wasn't just intense, it was meaningful. But love doesn't grow without being tested. The fifth kiss came during their darkest moment. Secrets surfaced, old wounds reopened. Noah felt betrayed, questioning whether she could truly trust Nick. He felt like he was losing the one person who made him want to change. They stood on opposite sides of a line neither of them wanted to cross. When they finally faced each other, emotions spilled out in raw confessions. Nick admitted his mistakes without excuses. Noah admitted her fear of getting hurt. The kiss that followed was desperate, tearful, full of pain and hope tangled together. It wasn't a promise that everything would be okay. It was a promise to try, to fight for love instead of running from it. Time passed, and slowly they learned how to stand beside each other instead of against each other. Nick learned that strength wasn't about control, but vulnerability. Noah learned that loving someone didn't mean losing herself, but allowing someone to walk with her. They grew, individually and together, shaping a relationship that felt earned. The sixth kiss came at the end of a long road. Not dramatic, not rushed, just real. They stood together, hands intertwined, looking toward a future that was still uncertain, but no longer frightening. When Nick kissed Noah, it was filled with everything they had survived, every argument, every apology, every moment they almost gave up. That kiss carried a quiet promise. That love isn't perfect, but it's powerful. That choosing someone every day matters more than grand gestures. That the deepest connections are built not in moments of ease, but in moments of challenge. Nick and Noah's story isn't about flawless romance, it's about growth. About two people who learned that love doesn't mean fixing each other, but supporting each other. Their kisses weren't just expressions of passion, they were milestones of healing, forgiveness, and choice. And in the end, their story leaves a simple, inspiring truth behind. Love is not found, it is built. Through honesty, through courage, through the willingness to stay, even when walking away feels easier.